We have the Dream Team. I haven't asked them if it's okay to call them the Dream Team as yet. We have the Dream Team, Mr. Kamal Banke and Mr. Scott Dunn. So I'll just invite them to come on up. We're gonna have a very fruitful conversation with them. So welcome again, Scott. Welcome, Kamal. So, guys, welcome. Good night again to Twitter Spaces. Good night to YouTube and everybody that's on their way, everybody that's here. Uh, really, really happy to have you guys. Uh, I think a part of the reason why I'm excited to speak to you is this is not one of the traditional industries that we typically speak to. It's usually manufacturing, distribution, finance, something related to that. So it's good to see a company in the entertainment space that I hear is very large. All right, I never get a response, but yeah, a company in the entertainment space here, and I have a lot of questions on that. And yeah, so let's get started. So I'll just allow you to introduce yourselves again and your positions at Dream Entertainment.
Good night, everybody. My name is Kamal Banki. I'm the chairman of Dream Entertainment Limited. Happy to be here. Welcome.
Good evening, I'm Scott Dunn. I'm the managing director of Dream Entertainment.
So let me start with Kamal. Kamal, what exactly is Dream Entertainment? So when people hear about Dream, they think Dream Weekend. That's the first thing that comes up. You enjoy yourself your week. So if you could contextualize for us, what exactly is Dream Entertainment from the company level?
So, I mean, to be honest with you, you kind of alluded to it first before we actually walked on set. But when we, as a group of our founders, sat down, we decided that we're going to call ourselves a dream team. That's actually what came first. So the dream team came first because we were at the time and still are the biggest and best promoters in Jamaica that all came together, just like what happened in the 1992 Olympics when Michael Jordan and everybody came together to play in the famous Olympics in Barcelona. And we came together and we said we're going to form a dream team of promoters. And then what does the dream team do? We created Dream Weekend. So that's kind of how we started, the very, very short version. But from a company perspective, I mean, Dream Entertainment, we are heavily vested in, obviously, destination, large entertainment festivals. So Dream Weekend, our flagship, Exodus Carnival, another, again, it's becoming one of our flagship festivals. And of course, we have a corporate arm, so Dream Corporate that does various types of executions and, agency contracts for various types of corporate clients. So we seek to service the markets that are, tourism, entertainment, party crowd, large festival markets, as well as, what you would consider your bread and butter corporate events. And that's kind of the ethos of what we do as a company.
Okay, so thanks for that, Kamal. So Scott, you've been with the company so you're a part of the Dream Team, the original Dream Team. All right, so give me an idea of how you guys move from having the discussion about the Dream Team to actually hosting and promoting an event. Did it start as you guys were individual promoters before and you decided to come together, or did you come together and then decided to kind of use that and build on it?
All right, so we started together as a group in 2009. And I said we came together for the purpose of doing Dream Weekend, of building this festival together. But all of us had a history in entertainment from before. So, for example, I've been doing events since 1994. So this is like my 29th year in events.
Scott, you look like 29. So
Actually, that's what a lot of late nights on the road do for you. Keep you young. But yeah, we've all been doing events for a long time, all relatively successful in events. We all had some of the largest events already in Jamaica as individual promoters. And as Kamal said, when we came together, it was really kind of trying to bring together this dream team together and then building this event that ultimately would be a dream for our patrons. Because what was happening, initially prior to that was that there was, competing events happening in the grill, ATI, RTI, which was kind of led by the liquor companies, Appleton, Red Stripe at the time. And what we saw was an opportunity to build an event that actually would be, very customer focused and be, a dream for our patrons, something that, everybody would love. And I say, that was 2009, and the event has built to, be now again, probably the largest, festival owned by a single company, probably in the entire Caribbean.
Yeah, I saw some numbers from the so the government provided a economic task force recovery document, and of course Dream was on it. And I saw that Dream by itself standalone it generates about $4.3 billion in economic activity.
Yeah, so that's just Dream Weekend alone. So actually, that same document, the largest festival in Jamaica in terms of economic activity is actually Carnival in Jamaica. So within that's a $4.6 billion worth of economic activity. Within that carnival space, we're the largest with Exodus Carnival. We're one of the largest mass band. We're more than twice the size of our nearest competitor in that space. And then Dream Weekend is the second largest festival. That's $4.3 billion, and that's all us. I mean, there's nobody else that's involved in that activity. We're the ones that are driving that economic activity, and I said that's spread across a host of industries. The majority of that money goes into the hotels, restaurants. There's tour operators, people in transportation, food vendors, bartenders, whatever production companies.
So what Scott is alluding to is that $4.8 billion is not him alone, right? It's not
far from it.
That's not his top line, right?
Far from it.
So they just assist in generating all of that income, and it's spread across usually the destination that it is. So if it's in the grill, it benefits the grill overall.
Right. So primarily in the grill, and Carnival in Jamaica is primarily Kingston, but again over the years we've seen where that's spread. And one of the things that we're trying to do is spread that more throughout the island. So like you're seeing leading up to Carnival this year, we did a lot of activities, outside of Kingston. So we had events in Ocho Rios, events in Montego Bay, Dream Weekend. The room spread that we basically there's like 7,000 hotel rooms basically from the Grill Point to Lucy. All of those rooms are pretty much full each year for Dream Weekend. So have people staying as far away as Mobe, people staying as far as St. Elizabeth for Dream Weekend. So the economic activity spreads beyond that. Obviously, there isn't an international airport yet in the Grill. So all of that, all of those people are pretty much flying through Montego Bay. So there's a lot of obviously economic activity, from Montego Bay going west, coming towards the group.
So let me just bring in Kamal here. So Kamal, Scott mentioned a festival, right? When I hear festival, I think Coachella and something things like that. How do you differentiate, like a party weekend from a festival? Why do you refer to it as a festival?
Well, the easy answer to that is that festivals are typically multi-day events, right? Parties usually happen one day. Some one-day events do classify themselves as festivals for the periphery activities that happen during the space, right? So whether it is that there is let's say a celebration of seafood and you have a seafood festival because you have a multitude of vendors or stuff like that, there is a lot of micro activity happening around a coalescing event. But typically when you have a multi-day event, it's always a festival, right? So Dream Weekend will always be a weekend, extended weekend, because we either go Emancipation Weekend or Independence Weekend, depending on how the holiday falls. And that will typically lead us to like a 5-day rollout. So we have very, very, very high energy, heightened economic activity for 5 days, day and night, every day in the grill annually.
Okay, got it. I want to. So I'm gonna come back to the amount of days and clearly the amount of project management that must go into coordinating all the different aspects of the festival. But specifically, I want to go back to Scott. Scott, you mentioned that you were the dream team were doing individual large events before, and you decided to come together. Do you think that that is unique in the entertainment industry? Because I usually see people try to do and build their own type of party brands and so is it that the dream team is the only team that has done something like this? Is it
Uh,
usual?
it's not it's not typical, and most people didn't think it would work. Everybody thought, say we have 11 founders, I believe. All men, all people would say with big egos. So everybody, the thought was that there was no way that we were going to get along. That obviously, we argue and all the time, but we had a common vision of building out, entertainment tourism product, building an event tourism product, which we recognized pretty early that would be very difficult to do on our own. And, we've stuck together, through that. I said it's what, how many years later? 14 years later. We've maintained, that vision, that common vision, and that's held us together. I said we don't agree on everything, but we agree in the direction that we're going as a company, and that we can get there quicker as a group than individually.
I think certainly there are lessons there. What some business owners may say so you said 11 is that too much cooks in the kitchen usually affect the quality of the product, particularly where you are creating a service that the patrons don't care who you organize it behind the scenes. They want to come and ensure that everything works on that day and that they're enjoying themselves on that day. How what are some of the things that you do to coordinate between the 11? Is it that, look, Scott, I'm the MD, Kamal, you're the chairman, Kamal said this have to go so it's just go so.
Not necessarily. What happens with us is that we have very different skill sets, which is what I guess people don't, pick up immediately about us. We have, although we are all in events, we all have very different backgrounds. So within our group, my background is predominantly in insurance and risk management. So, my mindset is like that. I worked as a reinsurance broker in London, worked as a broker here in Jamaica. So, my mindset, is generally towards managing risk. And, that's the way I think. We have people within our group who have engineering backgrounds. Kamal is predominantly a PR background and, food service background. We have people, the IT background. We make sure looking at people's skill sets and people focus on where they're best. And I say, while we're all very capable of doing an event on our own, we recognize that there's areas within the event that where we have strengths, and we all focus on our strengths and allow, our partners, our co-founders to flourish in the areas that they're strongest.
And Simon, just to reiterate, that's why it was a dream team. The coming together of the different individuals with the different brands, it was a dream team because of that. We kind of saw that amalgamation of not only events that we all did and resources and whatever, but skill sets. So pooling those skill sets together would have produced the best possible product. And that's really one of the core factors why we said we need to do this. And then, of course, we all depend on each other for various things. So we depend on Scott for what he's really good at. People depend on me for what I'm supposedly really good at. And then, of course, that's how it works. And, we each function with a certain level of experienced autonomy in our silos of experience. So it helps that, okay, well, yes, everybody knows that Scott is usually the person that does this. He has the most experience in it. You trust his vision for the overall company and vice versa.
Yeah, I think that's critical. So there was very little overlay in the skill sets, even though you were all already in the same area. So what I'm getting is that you effectively put the pieces of a puzzle together to form, that dream team, and you use Dream Weekend as a platform, not just to continue to build the experience and the brand around Dream, but you've built out more events. What are some of the other events that Dream Entertainment executes?
So, we alluded to it earlier. You have Exodus Carnival. We've also done Blue Weekend, which is a hotel takeover event. But Exodus Carnival is by and large, another significantly huge destination festival. Biggest band in Jamaica, thousands of people on the road. Annually from 2017, which was the year that we started. Obviously, we had a long hiatus, but back on the road this year, back huge again. And, we're very, very happy and grateful that we're able to give people that experience. But Exodus Carnival, we know, is a huge growth opportunity as well because in our nearshore neighbors, Carnival is their biggest product, right? So, like in Jamaica, obviously, dancehall and reggae is our biggest product, and that's where Dream leads, right? So, like, Dream is the biggest festival in Jamaica, and we're a dancehall festival, right? Because even the structure of the events is more like a dancehall party rather than like a stage show concert, which is what sets us apart from other festivals that happen in Jamaica. So that being said, Exodus we saw as a great growth opportunity because Carnival is every other Caribbean country's biggest music product, which we are now looking to grow into as we intend to expand the Exodus Carnival brand.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. To add it, we're also doing a lot outside of Jamaica now with these brands. Dream Weekend. We've extended. We've done Dream Weekend in Tampa, Florida. We've done a large Dream Weekend in New York. And last year we had our first major event in Europe with the Dream Weekend Malta. It was 11 events over 4 days in Malta, which is, for those who don't know, just south of Italy. I mean, again, it's not something where anybody would even think of, a Jamaican event, a dancehall event. We had, popcorn,
Yeah, why
Ding
Malta?
Dong, Beanie Man, Bounty Killer there. Um,
I mean, to be honest with you, the thought process was we need water, we need ocean, we need, those kinds of things to make people feel like we're bringing a little bit of the Caribbean to Europe um, rather than just doing something in a city. And Malta being an island, we got that. We were able to create that experience. We had boat parties, pool parties, so on and so forth. So it lended itself to executing in a very similar way to what we would typically do in Jamaica, albeit with some tweaks. And it was designed for the European and the UK market, and those are the people that came. Huge UK support. They're very into weekenders, as they call them, and they love the Malta vibe. They came in droves, thousands of people. A lot of people came over from Europe as well, and it was a great experience.
Oh, that's good. So thanks for the explanation because I was wondering. So effectively, you wanted to bring the Caribbean Jamaican experience of Dream Weekend to Europe, and that was one of the most ideal places to have people feel like they're a part of a Caribbean festival.
yeah, I mean, literally, was in September that we're in Malta. The weather is almost identical to Negril in the summer. I mean, it was literally like you felt like you're in Negril. It almost looks like you're in Negril in places because it's literally everything we did was within half a mile of of the sea. Most of our venues were oceanside, as Kamal said. We had two boat parties, so the vibe was very much kind of like that Negril experience. So for those who had been to Dream Weekend before, it was they were like, yeah, boy, this is the next best thing. And for those who hadn't been, it gave them a little taste of what what the grid is about. And we're seeing that already where our numbers coming out to the UK and Europe for this year. Dream Weekend is coming up July 28th to August 1st. We're seeing them getting more sales out of the UK and out of Europe. And I think Malta has a lot to do with that.
Okay, so basically, you would have introduced the festival to a new clientele and they still want that product. So they're coming to Jamaica now to experience that product.
Yeah,
Uh,
new and existing.
new and
New and
existing.
existing.
Okay.
It's important.
Okay. So moving on, probably on a different shape. So COVID had some impact on your company, and not naturally because of the nature of the company, it would impact the entire thing. All the events, everything that you're doing. How did it impact you specifically, and what are some of the things that you guys put in place to mitigate that? And I just want to add to that. My understanding of the entertainment industry is that um, cash flows are lumpy. You keep events at set points in the year, and cash comes in at those points, and you have to maintain the business over the course of the year. So
So Scott is going to answer the question, but just for clarity, the event industry was shut down, not the entertainment industry. And the distinction is important for people to understand. So during the whole pandemic, people are like, entertainment is closed. I'm like, no, it's not. Of course, it's not. People are still making music, people are producing TV shows. It's alive and well. Event industry was shut down. So people like us, whose company was built around the event industry, and all the suppliers who their companies are built around facilitating events, we were worst hit, worse than anybody else.
I mean, specifically, again, as I have a risk management background, and one of the things that I've always looked at and we've always spoken about as a team is um, reducing that risk from seasonality. And because they say typically, when we started just doing Dream Weekend, and then ultimately I say of Exodus Carnival. But as I said, that just happens once a year. The good thing with both of those events is that actually revenue actually is generated throughout the year because we're selling Dream Weekend a year in advance. So one, there is revenue that's coming in. From a accounting standpoint, we can't actually book that revenue until the event takes place. But there, from a cash flow standpoint, there is cash flow coming in. But more importantly, Kamal spoke about it earlier, was the corporate side of our business in terms of work that we do for clients. That helped to reduce our seasonality. So basically, luckily that was a business that we were already building pre-COVID, and then certainly, you know, we didn't have a choice in COVID. We had to focus on building that up even more.
what's that corporate side? What does it do exactly?
So doing essentially various executions for clients. So we do a lot of events for clients. We do launches. We do stuff very similar to what we're doing here right now. A number of different stuff we've done: social media management, marketing. We've done big marketing campaigns, advertising campaigns. A host of stuff for clients. What we've done is, because we've been doing our own events for so long, and there's so many different aspects that go into events, everything from production to marketing to PR. There's so many things that we've built up our skill sets in that we're able to pass that on now to clients. And so, stuff that we would do for ourselves initially, we now do for clients as well. And I said, we now have some pretty large, a number of Grace Kennedy subsidiaries. We do a lot of their production work. The Port Authority of Jamaica, we do a lot of their work. We've done stuff for Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Red Bull. A host of people. Within our own events now, a lot of the production that you see, a lot of the decor, that stuff that's coming in-house as well. So, and that's an area of the business that we plan to build out, more aggressively, as we move forward.
So kind of aiming to hold on to more of that dollar from from each um, from each person that attends one
Well,
of
not
your
even
events.
so much dollars, more in terms of control of our own events. Because again, we're still at the mercy of a lot of
Yeah.
suppliers. And again, if a supplier messes up, it can ruin our entire experience. So the more that that we can control that within our scope in terms of stuff that we find that we have a distinct advantage in, things that again that within our team, whether it be our founders or people that we've had over the years that they plays to their skill sets, more and more we build out those things.
As you were speaking about that, the corporate side of your business, and this is a plug for our sponsors. The corporate side of your business seems like there are synergies with with digital global media and Mark and his team at Visual Tech. That kind of helped us with on our production side. But just so shifting from COVID and into the I would say the event space generally. Are there any other event brands out there that you would want to incorporate into Dream Entertainment, or do you have a preference for building your own event brands?
So I would say it's a hybrid of both, right? So remember, that Dream Weekend is comprised of sub events, like a lot of individual parties that are branded and owned and by some of the founders, right? Also, those same founders have events that are not necessarily part of the Dream Weekend experience. So there's always this debate amongst ourselves whether or not we're going to acquire our own events wholly and totally to make them subsidiaries or not. And that would be the first step because, I mean, we have dozens of event brands that are owned by the founders of Dream that everybody knows and loves and say, oh, this is the best party ever. So, we own them, but not within the company. And then, of course, we also try to build new brands that the company will own and run and manage and so on and like that. Similar to how we did Exodus, we built Blue Weekend, right, which was the hotel takeover brand. We did the Dream Cruise, so, but the Dream Weekend brand, we regard it very, very highly and big. It's a big brand. It's the biggest destination event festival in Jamaica. So if we're going to make an acquisition or we're going to throw the Dream Weekend name behind something, it has to be weighty enough that it makes sense to do that, right? So it may be that we're considering, amalgamating a bunch of smaller brands together to make Dream Weekend, part three.
Yeah, got you. Thanks for that. How big is Dream Entertainment? What's your total sales overall or profits? I have to ask.
Well, as you know, we are a private company.
Honestly,
Still,
honestly.
and, I would say we are a very big company, though. I know we have very healthy profits.
So,
So
so I realize Kamal is very good at keeping his facial expression constant. So I'm just gonna say 1 billion, 2 billion, 3, 4 plus billion. It's significant, significant. All right. So
Poker
uh,
face.
yeah, poker, yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man. So on a more personal note, now, just to come off business a bit. So clearly, you host events. Um, am I too forward to assume that you are actually party guys, meaning say you actually like to party? So in your spare time when you're free, you are hitting the strip, you are partying in your own right, whether it's a dream event or not.
So, I mean, separate from Dream, I'm also one of the owners of Ribbies. So, Ribbies, we have two locations, open 7 days a week. I'm out partying, typically within my own businesses, 3, 4 nights a week, every week. And then when I travel, I go out to party. I'm a DJ as well, so I go out to party. I DJ all over the place. So, my life is really just entertainment.
You ever get tired of hearing the same song there?
Well,
Like,
that's why I travel a lot.
okay, okay, expose yourself
And I
to
also DJ various types of music.
also like the techno, the techno country music. Okay.
EDM, house music, Afrobeat.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So,
yeah.
so do you DJ at Dream or the other 10 guys not clear yet? Kind of step in and say, all right, DJ, come on.
I don't pull any chairman's privileges, put it that way.
All right, all right.
Generally, what will happen is, I mean, we all have very significant roles on the weekend.
Mhm.
And in the event that I am able to, I will. I've done it several times in the past. When we're in Malta, I DJed in Malta. But I mean, I tour as a DJ um, separately in my own right. So like DJ all in Miami for the big weekends, F1 weekend as DJ in there. I'm playing at Tomorrowland this year in Belgium. So as a DJ, yeah, I go all over the place and enjoy that.
That's
Right?
good, man.
Yeah, man.
Congrats to big up.
And I play at Exodus Carnival as well.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's good to know. I never knew that part that you're traveling and you do that aspect individually.
Yeah, so
you know,
music is my core passion.
Yeah, him being humble. Him just DJed for Snoop Dogg on Halloween weekend and him DJ with Marshmallow at Club 11 in Miami.
Oh, so you think
He's a huge international DJ.
so it's safe to say, Kamal, that Dream is just a part of your portfolio. Just a relatively okay part of your overall business portfolio.
Is that a question?
It's a statement. It's a statement.
Also,
You don't have to
no
respond.
response
You
required.
don't. You don't have to. You don't have to.
Dream is a significant part of my identity
Ah,
and portfolio
okay. Got you.
because we live, eat, sleep, breathe what we do, right?
Got you.
Entertainment is my life. Dream is my life. I mean, carnival, all of those things put together. Like every single thing that I do from a work perspective somehow correlates to the entertainment industry. Even when I do consulting work for the government, it's in the entertainment industry. So
So I guess I have to ask this, and I'll come to Scott next. So Scott, I want to know what you do outside of the events. So Kamal, how do you balance this with family? So you say couple nights and days a week, you out, you travel, DJ, etc. How do you what are some of the things that you do that works for you that to incorporate family into that?
well, I mean, I try to take my family to as many places as they can actually go. So whether or not I mean, obviously, my child, she can't actually go to an event. She's not that old, right? But if we go somewhere, we're doing an event or whatever, I'd be able to bring them to the city and, they would stay and, I go out and I come home and my family's there and
Okay.
it makes the experience so much better for me when I'm able to do that. Sometimes it's not practical, but there's also the balance. So it's like saying, well, how do you balance that entertainment lifestyle and also having time with your family? And that is also always a juggling act that we do, but setting aside time because there's also seasonal time with events, right? So when there's not a lot of event seasonality, the downtime you try to put more and invest more into family time.
Understood. Scott?
I mean, Kamal spoke to the passion that we have for entertainment and it being our life, and we spoke earlier about the economic activity that our events generate. Dream Weekend and Exodus Carnival, and to me that's what drives me really in terms of that is it's grown way beyond what we do for ourselves. So again, it's a solid business, very good profitability, and it's great for our shareholders. But the fact that we can put $4.3 billion into Negril or $4.6 billion into Kingston at any given point of the year, that's really what drives me, and that's really what I'm passionate about. And that's if you follow a lot of the interviews I've had, that's what I speak about a lot more, because that's really what means a lot more to me. Building out this industry is been something that been very important to us, and we're very passionate about. During COVID, I think I probably was the loudest voice probably in the whole Caribbean. Fighting for entertainment.
Events.
Fighting for events. Kamal obviously works a lot within government, so he's kind of working on the inside while I'm kind of making more noise, from the outside. But I mean, and personally, I say I'm not out as much as Kamal anymore. I'm a little bit older than Kamal, so I'm part of a little bit more. But I think I'm still fun when I get out. But I'm kind of what people lost on people is how much office work, running a company like Dream is. It's really like a lot more sitting behind a laptop and in meetings,
Really?
and than being out and having a good time.
Wow.
That's a tiny.
Yeah, it's a 90-10 rule.
Oh, I
80-20.
thought you guys were always out traveling, putting up things.
And what people don't get is that it's day and night work. So I'm running the same days as anybody in corporate. So I'm up 6 in the morning and in office 7:30 and working till 6, 7 o'clock. But then there's a lot of nights that we have events or need
Yeah.
to be at events, need to show face somewhere. So you're out and then you're back again till 3, 4 in the morning. When we do Dream Weekend, I'll go 7, 8 nights on 2 hours sleep per night. Again, we travel across the world for events, and Kamal and I, when we did Dream Malta, we had 2 trips to Dubai. Um, and we're decided it's not like we have any time to pause and recover from jet lag. We like fly 20 odd hours and then we've got to see 3, 4 nightclubs in a night because we want to see all the opportunities that there may be in Dubai. So we're at, nightclubs all night, and then in the day we're at different beach spots and pool spots to see. Because we're just always searching for venues, always trying to meet partners. We're meeting with government officials all around the world, trying to make the kind of connection. So it's like day in, day out, night in, night out. There's always work to be done in our industry.
Got you. Thanks for that, Scott. We were recent. Well, it's not necessarily recent anymore, but yes, I would have made an investment in Dream Entertainment. Now, we we know that the principals of Yesaya are no stranger to the stock exchange. So we're coming to that part of the question. But how do you guys? So I would surmise that because the Dreams team would have started a good while ago, it's not necessarily easy to let others in a part of become a part of that dream team because you've already formed a camaraderie. You have a working machine, a well-oiled machine. How do you see the partnership with Yes I transitioning going forward?
Well, I said, again, one of the things we spoke about earlier was why the dream team work is because we are different people with different skill sets that could take us to a certain place. What Yes I Am brings to the table is a whole nother set of skills, and to get us to somewhere
To
else.
somewhere else. All right.
To get
All
to
right.
somewhere else.
Okay, got you. So let me take it to the macro level back. So looking at strategy, Kamal, how do you see Dream Entertainment um growing its business, possibly its portfolio, its attendance at its events, and generally its exposure globally over the next 12 to 24 months? What more is there to do with Dream Weekend? Make it 5 more days.
So, the short answers are as follows: double down in corporate, for sure. There's a lot of room for us to grow in corporate. We have a robust business in corporate, but there's so many corporate companies that can potentially use our service profile. So there's a lot of things that we can consult on, and from marketing to executions, we do it all within our dream corporate structure. Grow our festival brands, right? So there's no reason that you can't have a dream weekend in UK, in South Florida, New York. We've done that in other destinations in the Caribbean, maybe Dubai, you know, Toronto. That's a large market for us as well. So there's a lot of room for growth there, and then there's a lot of room for growth in the Caribbean with the Exodus brand. So we
Yeah.
see these as very, very, very near field opportunities to grow and develop each line of our business.
So on that point of growth over the next 12 to 24 months, and I'm coming back to the Yes I Am partnership, because as I said before, the principals there are known for a specific thing and have a specific expertise that is related to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Have you guys considered listing on the stock exchange, or you want to keep all of the dream team small as usual?
I think the stock exchange is a wonderful thing. It does a lot for Jamaican companies, entrepreneurs, and creates a lot of wealth. I mean, for us, that is something that, is very, very attractive. And in the future, we can consider it for sure.
And so let's say hypothetically, you guys were to not just consider listing on the exchange, but make steps to actually move towards listing on the exchange. Firstly, is because you guys never gave up anything about the size. You know, I went 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, still nothing. But is this a main market company or a junior market company? Can you give me that? Hypothetically.
um, I think it's likely to be a main market.
So, oh, that means big. Okay, I'll take that. So for context, for those in attendance and those online, I'm just giving them the rules. So I don't know anything, guys. I've never seen their financials or anything. I don't know anything. So to list on the junior market currently, you have to raise upwards in share capital of a maximum of $500 million. So if you want to raise more than $500 million, you can't list on the junior market. You have to list on the main market. So based on the valuation or the total value of the company, you have to sell a minimum of 20% of that company. So if the company is very large and you're selling a minimum of 20% of the company, then naturally the company cannot list on the junior market. So what I am taking from the almost nothing that Scott gave me a while ago, which is just to say possibly hypothetically the mean is hypothetically if this were to happen, then Dreams definitely has a very large income statement. Let me just leave it or a large
I
valuation.
mean, what I will say is that we're certainly looking at growing the company very aggressively, as Kamal said, over the next 12 to 24 months in various ways, as Kamal said, doubling down on corporate, doing more festivals internationally, and we're looking at various ways of financing that growth. And I said we are talking to experts in the field,
Yeah.
brokers about how we go about that finance.
So that's actually going into the next question. So naturally, um, two of the major reasons for listing on the stock exchange is, well, firstly to monetize years of hard work and growth. So now you'll have a company on the exchange that, if you want to take a month off, probably buy a small yacht or a medium-sized yacht or a big yacht, you can do that by selling some of your shares publicly. But another reason is definitely to raise money for some future growth activity. So Kamal, I guess if that were to be done hypothetically, that form of financing would go towards building out that corporate network that you have and the events overall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no reason that we can't follow the path of other major event companies around the world, who build out multiple festivals around the world, have divisions that operate within not only events but consulting and maybe ticketing and various aspects of the factors of production of events. And we are able to look at it critically from a bird's eye view and say, okay, these things are the factors of production of our events that make sense for us to actually own and control, and we can invest in some of those. We can grow our own homegrown brands, export our brands to various deals, mergers and acquisitions, and we're open for business.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Kamal. Um, so I've been asking a lot of questions, and I'm going to go to the audience after this one and Twitter Spaces / YouTube. I guess my final question for now would be, what does it take to host a successful event? If you were to pick some tenets of hosting a successful event, and after doing it for a very long time, what would you say must go? What are the things that must go into the cocktail?
The most important thing to me, and I think is lost on a lot of people, is budgeting. I think even people who seem relatively good in the event space, um, then budgeting isn't on point. And I think that's again, why it's important to have people with different skill sets. 'Cause a lot of times people who go into events is a lot of people who it's more a lot of like, type A personalities, people who, very extroverted, and they like the excitement of the events, and they don't necessarily have somebody on the team, who's kind of focused on the budgets, and and keeping everybody disciplined. So for me, if there's one thing that stands out for me always is just proper budgeting, and discipline in terms of sticking with those budgets.
Okay.
Um, agree completely with Scott. I would also add to that. One of the critical things is great strategic planning. Reason being, you you look at an event and the amount of moving parts that happen when you're pulling together 15 different suppliers doing 15 things that all need to coalesce around a single start point. This is not, something that, cascades and, just runs and you catch. No. When the gates are open at 8 p.m., everything needs to be on and firing. And that level of strategic planning and project management you have to put in, and people management, project management, all of those things together, and the strategic planning that goes into it,
Mhm.
you it's almost like you have to have a little bit of clairvoyance, because you have to also anticipate when you're setting up a venue, like what's going to happen, how are people going to enjoy it.
That's where the risk guy comes in.
Right. And then you say, okay, how do you work backwards to create a great experience, right? And those are the strategic planning things that I would call it the fairy dust. It's most elusive to people sometimes, in terms of like, how do you actually create a vibe? You can you can book and pay for all the right
I guess that's
elements.
what I'm asking. Because well, go on. Sorry. Yeah. How,
Yeah,
how, how do
right.
you create the vibe?
That's the fear of us.
That's the fairy dust.
That's what I
So
was gonna say.
so so to delve into that just a little bit deeper, you have to literally look at an empty space and project what's going to go where, all the elements. And when you put those building blocks into the space, how that affects people enjoying the space. You have to vision, envision how people are going to actually enjoy it, how people are going to move, how they're going to relax, how they're going to, dance and party and access beverages and food and ingress and egress, right? And then you have to really have a very, very, very clear vision of all of that. Working backwards, the strategic planning teaches you how to do that from a, I would call it a production standpoint. But we're like a Dream Entertainment, and this goes back to our corporate business. One of the things that we kind of offer to our corporate clients that is very unique is that we can do this. We actually do this for ourselves. So they want to have an event, they have a vision for what they want their end result to be. But if they call a rental company, the rental company is going to bring all the equipment, but can they truly envision how people are going to use the space, how people are going to interact with the bar? When they go to the bar and they turn around, what are they looking at? How are they going to see the stage, the lights, different things? And those are the things that, from experience and traveling and going to some of these places that we've been to, kind of come second nature to us. So when we, myself and Scott, when we go somewhere and we look at some of these things, we say, oh, this is why it works. That's why it works. You file it away and you draw little tidbits of those knowledge banks and you regurgitate it into your own projects or contracted projects or corporate.
Yeah, I definitely consider that a competitive advantage for the dream team. I mean, even this meeting here is leagues smaller than what you guys host, but even just putting this together has so many moving parts. I can definitely understand, that it's important to get the people that are supposed to be there in the space at that particular time and get the equipment,
Well,
etc.
just picture, say, a dream weekend where I said this year we're doing 8 events over 5 days. We're doing it. It's in the grill. We all live in Kingston, so it's 4 hours away. So we're planning an event that's 4 hours away from home. And each one of these events have on average 70, 80 bartenders, um, 50 private security, 50 police, 30 catering staff, 5, 6 DJs, 2 performers. Um, can go on and on. Just, yeah, probably 30, 40 production, personnel within the event. Event like Wet and Wild at the water park. We have, you know, just the staff within the water park. There's another 70, 80 people. Um, and basically all this have to come together along with all the production elements to really just run seamless. And it just only takes one thing to not go right to just ruin the experience everybody. So you just you put it together, as you said, 50 different things into one event, and one thing don't go right and people are like, oh, the party was horrible, the event was horrible, the festival was horrible. And for us it even extends beyond our events. So like for us with Negril, we treat the entire Negril as our venue, because if something happens, yeah, if something happens to anybody, if you've traveled halfway across the world for Dream Weekend and you go, somewhere else in the grill and have a bad experience,
Tear you up on TikTok, man.
yeah, people are not going to say, "Oh, I went to Jamaica and I had a bad," or "I went to the grill." They're going to say, "I went to Dream Weekend and I got robbed." They didn't get robbed within our event. They got robbed at some bar, 2 miles away, but they were in Jamaica for Dream Weekend. So it's as important for us that they're secure at that bar 2 miles from our venue as it is within our venue. So we work along with
So
the police force.
you have to secure the place,
Yeah.
govern the place.
So,
Yeah, okay. I understand that for sure. A part of what we do is we host events, kind of just like this, but we call them grassroots events. So it's really bringing financial literacy, but in communities. A lot of people don't have access to the YouTube, Twitter Spaces, etc. So that helps us to go to do that. When we go into these communities, the police is just one small factor that we have to account for, but we have to ensure that anybody that comes to that event, even if they live in the community or a neighboring community, that they are secure and everything is that's a govern. Just leave it at that. I want to ask if there. Well, I have questions, but are there anybody? Is there anybody in the crowd that has a question for the dream team? Based on what we discussed. Oh, all right. So you can come over here. The mic is over here. So we'll be taking questions from Twitter Spaces. So you can request to be a speaker, and I'll give you approval and bring you on.
All right, good night. It's kind of low, sorry. So I was kind of late for the presentation, but my question is related to say contingencies. So, for example, if there's another pandemic, um, what contingencies do you guys have in place to continue receiving income in the event that there is another pandemic? Do you have any plans in place for that? That's my question.
Yeah, so one of the things I spoke about before in terms of within our risk management is taking out the seasonality out of our business, which it kind of falls within that as well. Obviously the large events in particular are affected by the pandemic, but rather than just sit around waiting and being able to do those large events again, we did a couple of things. One, we found there's always some space somewhere in the world where there's something could be done. So we were doing stuff mostly in Florida over that period, but also we grew our corporate business in Jamaica to stuff that didn't require um, in-person kind of audience. So we're doing a lot of virtual stuff. We're doing marketing consultancy, social media management, graphic work. So there's a lot of stuff a lot of skill sets that we have in-house, and certainly the lesson out of COVID was even to build on those things even more. So we build those as we could then, but again, we'll never get caught again going forward. We kind of have everything in place now that pretty much anything that the world throw at us, we're gonna find a way to earn a living.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks for that. Any other questions here? Don't be shy, Don't be shy. And the mic is almost behind the light, so you won't be caught on the camera or anything. So let us know. So I wanted so one of the last questions that I have, team, is so we spoke about the hypothetical listing on the exchange and your real need for financing to fund growth opportunities. Is there any event? How do you describe yourself as a group? Dream Entertainment. Come on.
I mean,
What type of company are you?
we're an entertainment company,
Okay,
not just an
okay.
events
So
company.
so events is a part of it. Oh, so that's why you've been saying
Right.
events,
Right. The
Okay,
distinction is important.
yeah, man.
And seeking to do more things in the broader entertainment industry is one of the growth areas that we see as well. So you have events and you have the broader entertainment industry that also we're tapping into as well.
Are there any other parts of the entertainment industry that you have not yet touched? That you would like to bring Dream Entertainment in, and the follow-up question to that is globally, because I mean, you guys are traveling and keeping festivals. Do you have any global entertainment group that you would compare yourself to and say, this is where we want to be in X amount of years?
So the short answer is that because of my love affair with music, that's always going to be my default answer. I want to get more and more involved in music, in the music industry. Because as I say, as a DJ, I've also produced music myself. I want to, broaden that for myself and, extend that to the company, however we can, because there's obviously a lot of synergies between what we do and the broader entertainment
Dream
industry.
Records. Sounds good.
Well, I mean, you ever look at one of the areas that, when you're trying to create talent, then, developing an artist is actually getting that music played.
Oh. Ah.
That's one thing. If we're developing an artist, if we're developing talent, their music will get played. The artist will have an opportunity to showcase their talent because we have the events to do that. So there's not a lot of people who in the music business who can offer talent that opportunity. So there's a distinct advantage we'd have from day
Definitely.
one going into the music business.
There's another advantage I think you guys have as well. So you have thousands of patrons coming to Exodus, chilling on the farm, Dream Weekend, generally for the 5 days. What are your thoughts a ticketing platform that
Right. So ticketing is a very interesting one. I mean, ticketing functions as a tech company,
mm,
right? Which is not generally in our wheelhouse. It's not generally in the entertainment wheelhouse. It's in the tech wheelhouse. So we do see opportunities in some kind of partnerships, but we don't have the tech landscape within our current ecosystem to actually approach that. So we've always seen ourselves partnering with tech companies to build out our ticketing for our festivals, events, and our back end management systems for what we do in terms of like costumes and stuff like that. So there is opportunity there with collaboration. And the follow up for your original question
yes,
was
a company.
right. So I mean, the dream is to obviously either work with or compete with major entertainment companies like a Live Nation, like a AEG. Those are the biggest in the world, right? And ultimately, those are, Live Nation is a big publicly traded company. They've done their whole, mergers, acquisitions throughout the years and built themselves to that level. And, we see ourselves kind of just starting in that journey. So we're not going to say that we won't, but we're going to really take our time and assess our journey and our opportunities and go as far as we possibly can. But Live Nation is the industry standard.
Thanks for that. Oh, sorry, Scott, you were going to say something before?
No, no, no. I mean, agreeing with Kamala, and just to put it out there, we're not lost on the Live Nations and the AGs of the world. They're very aware of who we are and what we do as well.
Okay, thanks for that. So I'll just do one final time. Any questions? Oh, sorry, I think it's the yeah, yeah. Um, is there are there any other questions from anyone in the crowd? Everybody good? We're clear on Dream Entertainment. I mean, for me, I have a much better understanding of 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 what the company is. So when I saw Dream Entertainment, I, as I said, immediately thought Dream Weekend. It's one of the most popular brands locally, and I know that you guys have brought that brand internationally as well. But certainly, a part of what I didn't know is that one, um, there are quite a few um, partners in the business, and each partner brings some specific type of skill set to the table. Found out as well that the company is very large, 1, 2, 3, 4+ billion. Why, Kamal? I couldn't play poker with Kamal, I couldn't I couldn't play poker with Kamal.
I actually don't play poker.
No, why? You should probably think about it, man. So the company is very large. In order to fuel the growth that is there within the general entertainment space globally, you'll need some form of financing, and there has been consideration for listing. So it's not something that you're opposed to at all. Scott really explained the underbelly of the business, of how it operates on a day-to-day basis. It was very enlightening to understand, from your perspective as successful event planners, what goes into a successful event, and the points that you mentioned, to me at least, really stood out as competitive advantages, for why Dream Entertainment is where it is now, positioned in the entertainment industry. And for those who came a bit late, the only numbers I could get, or the numbers that I didn't get from Scott, was from the task force recovery, where just for some context, and it doesn't really give much context, because it just states the overall impact that two particular events, so one Dream Weekend, has on the surrounding areas, which, so that's Negril, and what Exodus has on the surrounding area, which is Kingston. So for Dream Weekend, it's in around 4.3 billion, and for Exodus, it's 4.6
Yeah, for
billion.
Carnival in
Carnival in
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Carnival in Jamaica
Oh,
as a whole.
Carnival
Right.
overall
Carnival
is
in
4.
Jamaica is
Okay, it's
4.6,
4.6,
which is the largest festival we have in.
largest festival. Okay, and certainly your band. I don't know what the card. It's called a band, right? Yeah, man.
Yes,
So your
yes.
your band is one
Yeah.
of the largest.
The largest.
We're the largest in Jamaica by a stretch.
Why can't there be a road march in Montego Bay?
There can be.
Of course it can be.
Oh, so just wonder why nobody do it. I'm not a road march guy. I watch from the TV, so that's why I get I enjoy watching it on the TV, but I don't go. But why not Montego Bay? Probably you guys can try that. Think about it.
Thanks for the idea. Appreciate it.
Sarcasm is strong. So thanks again, guys, for coming. Um, of course, we are not going done. We have kind of put together some data on potential IPOs. I might have a new one to add to that list. Rights issues, APOs, etc. But certainly, I want to thank a part of the dream team for coming. So thanks, Kamal. Thanks, Scott. It was really good having you. And of course, this is recorded, so for I know quite a few people came late. So it's going to be up on YouTube, and the audio will be up on Twitter Spaces. So don't leave. Network. The guys are very approachable, so you can approach them, talk to them. Oh, we have a ticket to give away.
Yeah, we
We have
do.
a we have a we have a we have a VIP. And I'm going to be honest with you. When Scott called me and I told him that we want to give away a ticket, and Scott said a VIP season pass, I was kind of jealous, but it's fine, but it's fine. So we want to give that. Sorry, guys online, This I told you before on Twitter that this would be for those that are here. Now, I was going to give for participation, but it's one person participate, so that's fine. It would be unfair. But I have a question. Um, how many? And I deliberately didn't repeat the answer in my synopsis a while ago. How many members were originally sorry, input up him and what mega ask? You no man input up him on long time. Eh? Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me never finished the question.
Him
No man
deserve
input
it.
up him on him. No, but he put up him on a long time. So make sure pause and stop. But congratulations. Remember to give me your information before you can enjoy your summer. Mash up the strip on the grill. By the way, before we pause, you guys be traffic in the cars down on the grill them times.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not
So everything is
We've had that
streamlined
under
now.
control for
What,
years.
yeah, one of the things that
Mhm.
we have to do, as Scott said earlier, we take the town of Negril as our venue.
Yeah.
We put in an auxiliary bus system for the entire town. So coaster buses, we send down there from wherever we can pull them, Juta, JCal, different bus providers, and we put about 60 coaster buses on the road for the weekend in shifts, all the way from West End, all the way up to Bloody Bay. And anybody, not just Dream Weekend patrons, but anybody. So hospitality, hotel workers, you can hop on, hop off the bus because it lessens the need for people to drive, which lessens the amount of total cars on the strip.
So, well, I know we're wrapping up in about this is interesting. So, on top of the planning that you have to do for the 5 days for Dream Weekend, you also plan a short form transportation system.
Yeah, that's again just one of the areas of deep logistics we have to really drill down to. I mean, each of those subgroups of logistical planning would take a proper management system to really run it properly. And that is one of the difficulties in doing a festival, just overall. So, you have literally departments of executing Dream Weekend. You have people that are executing Dream Weekend that don't even see a party. They just work at the Redemption Center.
Yep.
Wow. Is this a question?
Sorry. So, well, kind of to piggyback on the back of that, especially now with
So, guys, as I mentioned, yeah man, that was very good. That was very good. So, as I mentioned, I pulled together some numbers and names as it pertains to capital market issuances over for the rest of 2023 and for 2024. So I did a very brief survey with I'll just call them capital markets players on the IPOs, rights issues slash APOs that they are working on to bring to market, as well as pulling some names of companies that are in the public domain that have publicly stated, that they have some form of intention to list on the exchange. So I won't call the names of those who provided the data and information. But what I will say is that for IPOs, boy, the rest of 2023 looks very, very good as it pertains to the IPO market. One of the things that not from retail investors, but from actual people in investment banking and capital markets, so people who would work on these transactions. So I was told that there are at least 11, and this is combined across everybody that responded. At least 11 IPOs that are being considered are at various stages for the rest of 2023 alone, which is a lot more than I thought. Naturally, disclaimer here, guys, a lot of things can affect a company actually listing on the market. So there is a process that they have to go through. Their financials have to be, or they would want the financials to be at a certain point before listing. They have to go to through the regulator, which is the FSC. They have to go through the supervisor of the market, which is the stock exchange, etc. And of course, they have to find a broker, etc., etc. So there are quite a few things. So IPOs 11. I didn't get a firm number on the rights issue, but I was told at least two rights issues before the end of 2023. APOs, some people won't like this one, but based on the numbers that I have, there are about 4 APOs in the pipeline for the rest of 2023. Naturally, a disclaimer here is that a few of them stated that some of these, because the general expectation of the market seems to be that rates will come down in Q4, they'll be pushed closer to the end of the year. So we might actually see more in, I would say, late summer to Q4, the last 3 months of the year, rather than over the next few months. Um, I was told that there is at least 2 IPOs that are in advanced stages on a no names basis. So I don't even know the names of these ones. At least two that are in advanced stages that might come out over the next 4 to 8 weeks. For 2024, they were very bullish on this. As I said, the expectation is that in 2024, rates will be much lower than they are now, and we'll go back to a more buoyant capital market. So even though they said at least 8, they have 8 in the pipeline. This they said was the minimum, so they could go from 8 to 11 or 12 IPOs for 2024. So outside of that, the rights issue. So next year, as I said, it's hard to pin down the rights issue numbers. I was told for 2024, maybe one. They maybe never sound very strong. So just telling you, it's maybe one, with no APOs. So even though I said 4 APOs for 2023, a few of them did mention that the APOs might drift into 2024, early 2024.
So a few of the names, and you guys can tell me if I missed any. This now I put it in our public groups, and collecting names from a lot of people on what they would have heard, what company CEOs would have mentioned, etc. So, and some of these have been on the IPO list for a few years. So you might hear some names that you would have been hearing over the past 4 or 5 years. So there's Express Fitness, there's HChem, um, you know, Optimum was here before. They were here last month when we were at Summit in Kingston, and he did say, that is something that they're considering. So that one is obvious. Um, Ari Williams, Carimed Group, Carl's Manufacturing. I just know Carl's for the ketchup, but them have the ketchup, but they have more stuff. Like bag juice. That girl don't drink bag juice, I true. I true. Me know. Me know that. Is it? There's a difference between the bag juice and the fruit juice, A Carl's have the fruit juice. A bag juice. $50 for a bag juice now. She said 40, but 40 is still the last time. We're not gonna say that. A long time we don't buy a bag juice. A long time we don't buy a bag juice. I like to drink coconut water and them thing. So wow, $40. So Remax, e-commerce, Amazing Concrete, Ajas, Omni, Total Office. This one was mentioned recently by JFP. They have an arrangement with them. So, the expectation, and this is public, is that, they'll be listing sometime soon. Caribbean Dreams, but Caribbean Dreams has been here for a little while. The last time John Jackson actually came here before, and he did say that there were some intricacies with delinking Jamaica Teas and Caribbean Dreams that they were working on. So that seems to have been pushed into this year for the summer. Um, you know, Digita is one of our sponsors, but yeah, big up Digita and big up the Digita team. But I saw something on Instagram, and Kemal never answered me. Something about IPO, And I was trying to find it today for screenshot it because I never screenshot it before. And I couldn't remember which post it was under because it was a comment. So, I'm adding Digita to this. So Kemal can cost me if you want. May I add Digita to it? Home Choice. So Choice has been here before, not as official guests here, but they were in the crowd and they spoke about that. But they would have spoken about listing on the market before. I think they had mentioned late 2023, 2024 at that point. JPS has been on the list for a while for the government listing their portion of JPS, because remember JPS is owned by a Korean company. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. There's Ace Bryden. There is, and some of this is speculation as well, guys. Somebody gonna tell nobody say Simon say them company you're a list. There's speculation around Blue Dot. Blue Dot that's Laren. They would have done some, some transaction with GK, and everybody is making assumptions there. So there's Money Masters. Money Masters would have stated explicitly that's something that they're looking forward to. Um, a few years ago, Chris Willie did mention something about some Premier League team listing. That's one of our local football teams. I didn't quite remember exactly who which team it actually was. As it pertains to rights issues, there is iCreate. iCreate's rights issue has had some form of delay, so we're still waiting on that. Fosridge did announce their record date. Matter of fact, the price jumped up. So big up anybody that was in Fosridge below $3. So kudos to you. At the SOS AGM, so I wasn't at the AGM, but people come back with different things. So people that were in the AGM were saying that SOS mentioned a rights issue, but the papers said that they mentioned an APO. So for that one, I'm not exactly sure. I'll probably have to ask Mr. McDonald about that. And of course, MFS Capital. As it pertains to APOs, there was the 138 student living APO, but based on what I'm told from the previous numbers, there may be more APOs coming. APOs aren't that popular now, so I can see why they wouldn't, explicitly say or announce that too far ahead. Now, is there any that I missed out, Malik? I missed any? Yeah, I think I covered a good anybody remember any that I think I might have missed? No, no. So I see another prominent business owner in the crowd, and I don't want to put them on the spot about listed on the market. I'm not gonna do it. But me, I'll talk to them personally about that. So I didn't want to put them on the list because I didn't hear any speculation about that. Right. So again, thanks again, guys. Remember, we're not finished, so we can go into networking. Meet somebody that you've never met before, shake some hands. We have sandwiches as usual. The bird very fresh. And we have beers, various forms of beers and liquor and drinks and things. So enjoy yourself and drink responsibly. And we have juice for the kids. Right. So thanks again to everybody on YouTube. Thanks to everybody on Twitter Spaces. Really appreciate you coming out tonight. And thanks again to the Dream Team and our sponsors, Digital Global. Thanks again to Dequity Capital, which has really, really been, supporting us. Talking about Dequity, they just acquired organized the acquisition of a company under their group. I think it's Winchester under the yeah, man. It was on this is public. It's on their Instagram, right? So I never wanted to speculate, but I'm putting it out there that the equity is a private equity company with an intention to exit the companies through some form of monetization. So I suspect that that may be a part of the plan. But of course, I'll invite Adrian and Kevin to come and talk about that another time. And of course, big up the visual tech team, Mark. Mark has really been supporting us and helping us. Jason around the camera, really appreciate it, and everybody else that has helped in putting this together. All right, so thanks so much, Casey. Yeah, so big. Oh, sorry, Casey, I'm forget her. Yes, big up yourself. All right, guys, thank you so much.